Think social media doesn't affect your game? Think again. Here is what it is really doing to your performance. Now, football is more than just a physical skill. It is about focus, resilience, and being mentally sharp every time you step out onto that pitch. But what if I told you that the very thing that you do every day, scrolling through your social media, could be holding you back from playing to your best? Now, my name's Bowden. I'm a mental performance coach to professional football players, mainly at Premier League and Championship level. And I'm also the author of the best-selling book, Use Your Brain, Raise Your Game. And today we are diving deep into the impact of social media on footballers' concentration, confidence, and overall game performance. And by the end of this video, you will know how to use it wisely without letting it control you. And stick around because I'll share with you a simple yet powerful strategy to manage your social media habits like the pros do. Now let's start with the science behind why social media is so addictive. Now, platforms like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, they are all designed to tap into our brain's reward system. Every time you get a like, a comment, or a new follower, your brain releases a hit of dopamine, a feel-good chemical. And just like a slot machine, you keep coming back seeking that next reward. But there's a big catch here. When footballers start relying on these dopamine hits from social media, our brains can become wired to seek instant gratification. Now, you might be wondering, what does this have to do with my game? Well, when your brain gets used to those quick hits of pleasure, it starts to find satisfaction in the wrong places. Now, instead of focusing on training, match preparation, or tactical work, things that require effort and patience to get this same dopamine hit, your brain starts craving the instant rewards that social media gives to it. Now, studies have shown that this can actually weaken your ability to stay focused for long periods, a skill that is crucial for peak performance. And on top of this, let's talk about something called attention residue. Now, have you ever noticed that when you switch from scrolling through your feed to something serious like maybe a tactical session or even a match, your mind is still feeling a bit scattered? Now, that is attention residue in action. When you jump between tasks, like checking your phone and then going back to trying to focus on your game, your brain is struggling to fully transition. Part of your attention remains stuck on what you were looking at before, and this is especially dangerous for footballers who need to be fully locked in, both during training and on match day. And a study in 2009 showed that this fragmented attention can lead to poorer decision-making and slower reaction times. Now, on the pitch, this could mean you're a second late on a tackle, or you hesitate just enough for your opponent to get the better of you. Now, for footballers, being distracted can be the difference between a win and a loss. And social media, unfortunately, is one of the biggest distractions that we have today. Now, let's go even deeper with social comparison. Now, it's a natural and a hardwired instinct for us to compare ourselves to others, and social media is built to exploit this. Now, for footballers, this is going to be something like comparing your training routines maybe to other players, or seeing your teammates post about their highlights, or even comparing your lifestyle to other high-profile athletes. Now, the problem here is these comparisons are often based on curated, polished versions of reality. You're not seeing the missed shots, the failures, or the long hours of recovery that are going on behind the scenes. Now, research shows that if you constantly compare yourself to others, you can actually lower your self-esteem and increase performance anxiety. Instead of focusing on your own development, you become fixated on matching or exceeding others' digital image, which isn't even the full picture. And this can create a cycle of self-doubt and pressure that is going to be hard to escape. Now, think of this. Next time you step onto the pitch, your mind might still be caught up in comparing yourself to something that you saw online instead of focusing on the game in front of you. And it is these subtle mental distractions that are going to add up, and they can impact negatively on your performance in ways that you do not even realize. And next, let's face it, social media is not filled with positive feedback. Footballers face intense scrutiny online from fans, critics, journalists, and our brains are wired to focus on negativity. Now, when you read negative feedback, your brain's amygdala, the area responsible for processing threats, it gets activated. It releases cortisol, the stress hormone, and if this becomes a repeated pattern, it can lead to heightened anxiety, reduced confidence, and even depressive symptoms. And a 2018 study showed that chronic exposure to negative feedback can have a lasting effect on brain function and mood regulation. Now, for a footballer, this could mean stepping onto the pitch already feeling self-conscious and distracted by what you've seen online. Now, when your confidence is down, your decision-making and your performance suffer. So what can you do? We know social media isn't going anywhere, but there are ways to use it smartly without letting it control you. Now, first, set clear boundaries. Designate specific times for social media, preferably when it doesn't clash with training or match day preparation. Avoid checking your phone right before a match, as it can set off emotional triggers that you do not need when you're about to compete. And next, focus on digital detox periods. This means to take breaks from social media altogether, especially during intense training phases or before matches. This will help you to reset your brain's dopamine levels, allowing you to rewire your reward system so that you start finding fulfillment in your training again, in your progress, and what you're doing within the game, those small incremental improvements. And finally, be selective with the content that you consume. Follow accounts that inspire you, accounts like the Fearless Footballer, rather than those that make you feel pressurized or inadequate. Your social media should be a tool for learning, a tool for growing, staying connected, not a source of stress or distraction. And definitely do not search your name, even if you've had the greatest game of your life, as it will only lead you down a rabbit hole, so that when you come across that tweet that criticizes you, even if it's amongst 100 positive ones, you just get fixated because of how our brain is wired to look at negativity. Now, at the end of the day, social media can be both a tool and a trap. For footballers, finding that balance is key to maintaining focus and confidence. Remember, it's about using social media on your terms, letting it elevate your profile, not distract or bring you down. Now, if you want to take control of your social media habits and boost your game, if you're really that serious as a player, consider getting someone else in to manage your profiles. And I've put links in the description below for the agencies that I'd recommend for doing this. But now that you're going to be sensible about your social media, let's get back to talking about great performances. So make sure you watch this video here to take your game to the next level.